Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be timing the motor or the engine, so nobody gets mad here. But I actually already installed all this good stuff, and it actually has to be disassembled because I didn't use any lube or anything. And the only reason why I did this was because I had to put the Woodruff keys in the camshafts. So this is the only way I could do it because these things are torqued down pretty well. And then I have this cam locker here that I'm just going to take out and put off to the side somewhere. So now we got to disassemble this thing, and then we can go ahead and whip out the timing belt soon. Okay, so I found the cam seal, and that's going to go right here. But first, I'm just going to take these cams off because everything's got to get lubed up anyway. Alright, so I got my assembly lube right here. I'm just going to go ahead and lube everything up. Rocker arms, all right here, all in there, basically everywhere. Alright, it's all lubed up. I'm just going to go ahead and put the cams on and then lube the cams a little bit. And then I'm just going to start locking everything down. Exhaust can is lubed up and ready to be placed in. Alright, so right now the cam caps, I'm just lubing them up on the camshaft side and then using Honda Bond right where the cam seal is. So that way, you know, everything's good. So yeah, that's pretty much all I was doing. Alright, that looks good. Very nice. Alright, so as I was tightening down the intake bolts, cam cap bolts, I found this little guy stopping me from tightening it down. And guess what? This thing snapped on somebody previously. So I guess that means I should probably fix that. But I've had enough of this build for one day, and here's what I'm going to do. So there's 3 out of 4 bolts that go in here. The 12 mils are obviously the strongest out of the sections right here. So I'm thinking real hard now. If I tighten all of these down, this one should be no problem if I just leave it empty. I'm probably going to damage something. Yes, I know. Flame me in the comments right now for it. But I'm right here. I'm not waiting any longer. I'm gonna have to take this. I would have to take this whole entire head off, drill this out. Too much work. I'm done. I'm just so done with this now. So yeah, we're just gonna put it on, and we're just gonna forget about it because there's not much I can do anymore. I should be able to get away with one bolt, right? Probably not. but we'll find out. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and snug everything up just a little bit with my ratchet before I torque everything down. Wow, it's a 12 mil right when I start. Perfect. Yeah, so that's where we stand right now with that bolt over there. I mean, there's nothing really I can do. I mean, it's whatever. I should be okay. It's not the end of the world. Most of it is going to be torqued down anyway. So, I mean, that's all I can really hope for, is that it does its job. Okay, so the 12 millimeter bolts are 20 feet-pounds, and the 10 mils are 8. And it says to go slow, so that way nothing gets snapped like that one right there. So I'm just gonna go slow with it, and hopefully everything works out the way I think it's gonna work. And then here's 10, right here. Yep, I feel it getting tight, it's not doing anything. There we go. What does it look like? All right, fast forward a little bit. So a lot has happened, and there's a reason why the motor is like this. So, basically what happened was, the timing belt was on, as you saw by my Instagram video, or my Instagram picture. So the timing belt was on, and it was on, and then I rotated it back 3 teeth counterclockwise. You know, I don't know why nobody ever says this, so I'm gonna say this right now. When you're doing timing belts on a B series engine, or mainly like old 90s Honda engines, they rotate counterclockwise. Nobody told me that. So I had to actually research that in my book, and it says never rotate the engine clockwise. So they actually run backwards. So you have to actually tighten this bolt and probably lock this whole thing down, or at least don't put the head on. And then just tighten this up before you do all this work, because if you rotate it clockwise, bad things could happen. But besides that, the timing belt was on, and I was getting ready to put the motor mount on, which is on right now, and torqued down to 40 foot-pounds, which is torqued down to 40 foot-pounds. So this is good to go. And what happened was, the motor was up straight, and I was trying to torque it, and I felt the whole entire engine stand kind of lift. It was like lifting as I was trying to torque it, and I was going really slow with it. I was just going slow, and it was just like starting to tip. So I was like, you know what? I have to try to lower this somehow, because I don't want to tip this thing and not be able to save it. So what I ended up doing was moving out this bottom bar, because it wasn't tightened down all the way right here, and I tried to like push it. I tried to push it out. I tried to push this bracket out so I could lower the engine down. And what I did was, I lowered the engine down onto the alternator, which wasn't the best idea, because it actually bent the alternator a little bit, as you can see right there. And this was a lot heavier than I was expecting. And I kind of just gently rested it down on the ground as slowly as possible. But I wasn't able to get it back up on my own. I had to get some help. But that's why it sits like this now, because this cam locker, or not the cam locker, this engine locker won't come out now. And yeah, that just fell out. So this is stuck in there, and I can't get it out. So basically that means that the engine has to sit like this until I'm completed with it, or until it's done. Which isn't much of a brainer, because I have to put the intake manifold on, which is right here, so that's fine. And then once the baffle gets put on, I can just slap it on right here, no biggie. So it's basically done. I just gotta fiddle with this again, because it jumped a tooth last night, and it still jumped, because last night, this is how it ended up. And I was supposed to rotate like the crank 1 teeth to kind of get it right, but I'm just gonna take it back off, because I have to actually put the upper timing cover on anyway. So yeah, I just said all that. That's where we stand. I'm not happy, kind of mad. Timing is not that hard, guys. It's just stupid stuff that comes along the way, and and just messes everything up. So where's that upper timing cover? And not only that, my dumb self bought a LS mid timing cover. I'm like sitting here trying to line everything up, and I'm like, why isn't anything lining up with me? And you know, I come to find out that this is the LS timing cover. So I'm gonna make it work. I'm just gonna drill in there. I don't care. I'm using this, but this I can still definitely use. All right, so after rotating it counterclockwise 3 teeth, it tightened up completely, just the way I wanted it to. This is extremely tight now, just the way I wanted it. Barely any slack up here. So I officially timed the motor, or the engine if you want to say that. This is still needs to be torqued down to 40 foot-pounds. These are already down to 40 foot-pounds. So that's all good. I'm going to take this off now because I don't actually need to do that anymore. Yep, that's it. Here I have my valve cover, and I don't want to damage it. I'm just going to put RTV on it really quick before I actually tighten everything down. And by the way, this is a OEM valve cover gasket. I was going to use one from AutoZone, but I was just like, you know what? I spent all this money on this thing. I really don't want to deal with any BS, so I'm just going to buy what I need to buy from Honda and just end it at that. Alright, so the valve cover gasket's on, and I have to get another set of Honda Bond up here because what happened was the gasket wasn't fitting on right, and I'm going to get a close-up later when I actually put the Honda Bond on right now, but the valve cover right here is cracked, and it's probably due to the shipping, and I highly doubt that because this thing is tough. I mean, it could withstand a beating. So I don't know what happened at what point in time, but my valve cover is a little cracked, so yeah, this might cause oil leakage problems in the future, so I might have to get another valve cover. But then again, I got this from a friend of mine, so it's not the end of the world, and I didn't pay too much for it, so I'm not like mad. But I mean, we'll just see what happens when it runs. It should be okay when I bolt it down because it's not sticking out too much. It's actually like sealing. Please don't get any Honda Bond on the valve cover. That will ruin everything. I make such a mess when I work. I really do. Yeah, so I chipped it like right here and here, but it's okay. Alright, so here's the final product. Everything's kind of locked down. The reason why there's green tape here is because the spark plugs aren't in, and this little piece right here decided to push through the bolt, and the piece broke off and fell down into cylinder 3. And I'm so lucky that it didn't fall all the way down into the block. It just fell right onto the bottom of the head. So I just tilted the engine 180 degrees and it kind of just fell out. And here is the little piece right here. So I'm lucky for that, really lucky, dodged another bullet. But here's what it looks like right now. I got my spark plug cover over here. Gonna smack that on, and boom, all done. So from here, all I'm gonna do is get a header, get a clutch. I already have an intake on the way. It's a B16 and it's bare, so I'm just going to use stuff from my LS and just piece it on there, and then we are one step closer to dropping this in. Also, if anybody has a distributor, please let me know, because some guy from the Honda Facebook group chat tried to scam me and tried to sell me a LS Dizzy and claimed that it was a GSR, and I was kind of mad about that because I drove like 45 minutes for that thing. So yeah, if you have a distributor, please let me know. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it when all you guys comment and subscribe. And to all of those who like the videos, so I will catch you guys in the next one.